the CW in South Florida, Dave Azar.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Good to see you. How you doing? Yeah? Super conning? Is it going well for you guys? Yeah? Good. Good. I'm glad. Well, I'm guessing some people here have heard of a show called The Simpsons. Are we aware of this show? Yeah. One of the greatest television shows in the history of TV. Well, you know who I'm going to bring out. I'm going to read you an introduction. Not that you need me to, because we all know who this lady is. She is unbelievably incredible. She's super nice, too, by the way, in addition to being awesome at what she does. So, as you know, she's an American voice, film, and TV actress known for the longest-running role as Bart Simpson, of course, on the animated TV series The Simpsons. She also voices other characters on the show: Nelson Muntz, Ralph Wiggum, Todd Flanders, Kearney, Maggie, and Database. She's also Chuckie from Rugrats. And she also has a production company, Spotted Cow Entertainment, which is producing feature films, as well as other live and animated entertainment properties. She's a prolific painter and sculptor. She's a great lady. She's here in town to see all of you guys. Give a huge round of applause to Nancy Cartwright. Here she is. So Nancy is going to take your questions. So what we'll have you do is, we'll have you line up right there in a single file line where that microphone is, where the young lady is right there. And if you have any questions for her, just head on over and ask. And we'll just get it going. How are you?
I'm good, but first I wanted to say, yo, I'm Bart Simpson. What's happening, man? Bart's going to be a grandma. Woo!
Bart's going to be a grandma. That's amazing. Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, so when we started The Simpsons, I was very pregnant with my daughter Lucy, who is almost 27, and my son Jack will be 25, and he and his wife are having a baby. So it's kind of cool for the older guys out in the audience to know this, because when I started doing The Simpsons, seriously, it was like my water was breaking at the it was the Christmas show. It was December 17th. She was born the 19th, and it was the premiere of the Christmas episode, and Lucy was sticking out to here. It's like, whoa, my water broke, I'm out of here, man. That's for the older audience, but it's interesting to have that such a long-term relationship that I don't think anybody on television can say that they've ever done that they've been around long enough to say that, you know, that the cast and crew got to witness an actress being pregnant, and now that baby is going to have a baby. That's crazy.
That's amazing. That's phenomenal. Look, I'm sure people ask every day, so I would never bother asking this. You know, did you have any idea it would be this successful? Of course you didn't. But when you were making it and it was starting, were you at least like, this could be a good thing here?
You know, the only thought that I had about it was like, nobody is doing animation on prime time. So I knew that was different, and I was curious, like, how they were going to take it. But, yeah, you're right. Nobody had any clue that 28 years later, I'd be sitting here at the Chuckie Gleason Theater, you know, Miami, Florida, going to Comic-Con, and we're still on the air. That's, wow.
And if I'm right about this, you didn't even go in there to audition for Bart, right?
That's right.
Yeah, tell that story.
Yeah, I went in to audition for Lisa. And I said, well, tell me about it. What's the name of the show? Well, it's not exactly a show. It's a little bumper. It's a little interstitial. Like, what is that? What's an interstitial? Well, it goes right after the show, before the commercial. So it's not even a show? No. And I said, okay. Well, what part do you want me to? What am I up for? Well, it's an 8-year-old girl. Her name's Lisa. She's the middle child. Okay. All right, fine. And that was it. So I went in to audition for Lisa, and I saw her picture there along with a little monologue, and sitting right next to Lisa was a picture of Bart, and it said, 10 years old, school-hating, underachiever, and proud of it, and bam, he won my heart. So I just went in, I met Matt Groening. He was the only one that was in the room, and I said, hi, I'm Nancy Cartwright. I was supposed to read for Lisa, but this Bart, I'd like to read for Bart instead. Is that all right with you? He's like, yeah. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Oh my God, that's him, that's Bart. You're hired, and right on the spot.
That's so cool. We are going to get to your questions again. If you have a question for Nancy, just line up over there. But I'm curious. So you go in, and so you're not obviously prepared to do Bart until, like you just said, you go and you see the description. So the voice, how do you do that? Because you've had no backstory really. Like there's been no rehearsal at home.
Right.
How do you fall into that voice?
You know, mostly my my technique, I guess, is that I like to look at a picture of a character and kind of see their jawline, and Bart didn't really have much of a jawline. I don't know, in this case it was just, I had one sound for Bart, and that's the sound that I did, and that's what got me hired. There was no second choice, no third choice, because when you do a voiceover and you're auditioning, the idea of playing a character, the casting director or the creator of the show might have a different idea of what that sounds like. So, playing Bart Simpson, I mean, just to give you a little bit of an example, like how Bart's voice can change. So this is the Bart that I did. This is Bart Simpson. This is the sound of Bart Simpson. But if I was to make him just a little bit younger, all I would have to do is kind of like take this voice and I would just kind of goose it up a little bit, and now he's like 4 years old. This is Bart Simpson at age 4. And if he's going to be 2 years old, then I would start to do it like, this is Bart Simpson at 2 years old. So it still has that certain quality that I can't get rid of as Bart. And likewise, if I was to make Bart like, say this is Bart at age 10. Hi, I'm Bart Simpson, what's happening there? Let's make him 15. Hi, this is Bart Simpson at 15. I'm just a little bit older. Maybe his voice would crack just a little bit. If he's going to be really old, instead of technically changing it, so I take Bart Simpson as 10 years old and then I can drop him way down in a year. And now I'm like, yeah, Lisa, so what's happening, man? And slow it down just a little bit. That's my idea. They seem to buy that.
That's awesome. How cool is that? All right, we got some questions. Go for it.
Hi, Nancy. I'm a huge fan of you and The Simpsons. I've been watching since I was 3. And I wanted to ask, how did you get into voice acting?
Well, I was about, when I was 16, I had heard that the high school had a speech team. Prior to that, I had competed when I was 10. I was Bart's age. I had competed in a little contest that my school had. And all I did was tell a story. And it was Rudyard Kipling's How the Camel Got His Hump. It was not a particularly funny fable. It was just a little fable. But when I did it, somehow I made everybody laugh. And when everybody laughed, wow, that really felt awesome. I said something and I did something to my hair, like, humph was all the camel said, humph, and the hair was flopping around and people laughed, and it just created something that, wow, I really like that. So I started to pursue other avenues that would make people laugh. So I got into children's theater. And I did some summer theater and community theater. So by the time I got into high school and they had a speech team, I used to compete. And I wasn't a debater, but I did individual events called forensics. And I just did individual events like humorous interpretation of literature and a lot of children's stories. So when I did that, the judges would write on my critique sheet, they would write things like, you've got an unusual voice, you should do cartoons for a living. I was like, wow. And enough judges said that over the year, in my sophomore year, my junior year, that people get paid to do this? Really? You can make a living doing cartoon voice? It never occurred to me because I lived in Dayton, Ohio. It's not exactly the animation capital of the world. So again, I started to pursue opportunities for myself that I could do more entertainment with my voice. And I did really, really well on the speech team. I got trophies, blue ribbons, and lots of trophies that were tall. My brothers would get Little League trophies and soapbox derby trophies. And here I am bringing home a blue ribbon. And then I got a scholarship to go to Ohio University and be on their speech team. So basically, they're kind of paying for my college education, and all I'm doing is telling stories and bringing home some hardware. So I'm thinking, there's something here. Then I worked at a radio station. Again, kind of along the same line. So when you're thinking about, you young guys, what you want to do for a living, since you got to have a job anyway to pay for all the extra bling and extra activities and buy some nice clothes and pay for, going to the movies and all that stuff, pick a job that you really love. Pick a job that is just kind of along the line of what you want to do. Because you're going to have to work anyway. And I was super smart about that because I learned about doing commercials and putting commercials together. So that was my beginning.
Thank you.
Great question.
So, for Bart Simpson, what was your favorite Simpsons episode to voice?
This one, besides who's your favorite character, is perhaps the most often asked question that I get, and very difficult to answer because it's like, do you have a favorite episode?
Not really. I'm not original at all.
You are original, honey. Everybody's original. You really are. You'll find that out. You're special girl. For me, it's a little tough. I personally tend to like the musicals because I just think they're brilliantly written. The satires, right? Like Sherry Bobbins and Take Off on Mary Poppins. You guys remember that one? Right? When we performed in September 12th, 13th, and 14th at the Hollywood Bowl in 2014, we played in front of, wow, I think it was 58,000 people. It was really extraordinary. It was amazing, and we got to sing, Yardley and I, who plays Lisa Simpson, got to do a little bit of the Sherry Bobbins thing and sing, "If you want to be our sister, please be rich and never bitter. Help us with math and book reports. Might I add, eat my shorts." So fun. And Kip Lennon does the best Michael Jackson voice, and Michael actually hired Kip because Michael was under a musical contract and was not allowed to do his own singing when he was on The Simpsons. You remember when he played the 300-pound white crazy guy? So he could do his voice, but he wasn't allowed to sing. And in that episode, Michael and I got to sing Happy Birthday to Lisa. And so when we did again the Hollywood Bowl, Kip Lennon also was a guest performer there. And we brought Yardley on the stage and sat her down in a director's chair, kind of facing, I'm standing like this, and Kip is standing like this, and Yardley was kind of in front of us. And we got to serenade her singing, "Lisa, it's your birthday, happy birthday, Lisa." And it was backed up by the Hollywood Bowl. It was so cool.
So
Yeah, it was such a highlight.
There's so many incredible things that have happened because of this show. Like when I was a kid, I had like a Cowabunga Dude t-shirt. Did you get any money off of that, by the way?
No.
Oh, sorry.
The only time I get paid for merchandise is if they use my voice.
Oh yeah, I didn't.
Darn.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Darn.
But it's like what a humongous effect on pop culture. It's one thing to have a great TV show, fine, but you guys are just like imprinted on the fabric of this country.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's true. What a...
Mind blowing, right?
Yeah. To me, still, it's amazing.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. All right, let's keep the questions going.
Thank you.
Hey, I was wondering if you had any particular tips or tricks for playing male characters?
That was something that I never really set out to establish for myself. It kind of just happened. When I moved from Ohio to Los Angeles, by that time I had connected up with a pioneer in the industry by the name of Dawes Butler. And many of you adults would remember him from the characters that he used to do. He was Huckleberry Hound and Yogi Bear, Quick Draw, McGraw, Elroy Jetson, Bob Lee, Cosmo Cobb, Peter Potamus. He did a lot of the Hanna-Barbera characters. And when I was on the speech team at Ohio University, I connected up with Dawes Butler, and he would send me scripts in the mail, and I would record my voice on a little, at that time it was a little cassette, and mail that back to him, and he would listen to it and then do a little critique for me and send that tape back to me, and I got to actually listen to him when I played it back on my tape recorder. So I'm kind of learning from this guy and realizing, I gotta move to California. So by the time I moved to California, I only knew one person, and that was Dawes, and I'd never really even met the guy. So I was a little bit of fish out of water. However, I didn't have anybody that was, how do I say it? It's like I had no stops in my way. it's just like the world was my universe. I could do whatever I wanted. It was a clean slate. And I didn't have any considerations about what's the right way to do it. No, that's not the right way. Oh, I've got to do it like this. No, I can't do it like that. There were no considerations. And when you don't have any considerations, it's actually kind of amazing because you can just create anything. So I put a tape together, by myself, and just threw this tape together. And eventually, in time, Dawes took me out to Hanna-Barbera, and I got to shake hands with some directors out there. So I guess in terms of like a tip, you're wanting a little tip to start out, that's one thing that you can do. Here's a couple of things. You can do what you love, be a professional, and most important of these three is surround yourself with people who love what you do. Because you guys, this is a trap. This is a big trap, is that somebody is like, my feeling is that an artist, we make such a difference on the planet. I think it's the artist that really changes the culture of our society through our artwork, by statements that we make and what we say, in pictures that we do, when we draw things, in sculptures, in dance, in music. These are the things that either elevate or can actually deflate the culture. So you have to look at the message that you're sending out. What is it that you're saying? Or if you're looking at art, who's saying it and what are they saying? Because that is what gives hope, what inspires our culture to make a difference on this planet. And I think it's the artists that really do that. So be an artist. Make a difference. Thank you.
What is your favorite Bart t-shirt?
Okay, nobody's ever asked me that question before, so guess what? You get an autograph. Do we? Have I arrived yet?
Yes.
First girl, Miss Priscilla. Round of applause for my assistant. So this is just something I thought I'd throw in because I've been doing answering questions and doing seminars for decades, and when somebody can ask me something that I've never been asked before, oh, that's so awesome. So dude, what's your name?
Michael.
Michael.
So from now on, so that's what's at stake here. But you can't ask for stuff like, what kind of microwave oven do you have? That doesn't count. Right? It has to be sort of in the vein of what we're talking about here. Yeah. Right.
Miss Priscilla. You pop this over to Michael. Yeah, have him. Michael, come on down stage. Way to go, Michael. What was your question?
Michael.
The t-shirt question. It's kind of along the same the phrase. That's a tough one. On The Simpsons, I don't know that I've ever seen anything that I can recall that blew me away because of the maybe it was actually maybe the first t-shirt that I ever saw. I remember I was in an elevator, and the elevator door was closing, and a little kid had on a Simpsons t-shirt. And I looked at it and I couldn't resist, and I said, I'm Bart Simpson, who the hell are you? Bam, the door closed. That was amazing, and that was on a t-shirt. Thank you, Michael.
And that kid was probably like, that lady does a really good Bart Simpson impersonation. You and I were talking about this earlier, that I think you have the perfect amount of fame. Like the great amount of celebrity, where you get to do great stuff like this, but you can still be quasi-anonymous.
It's true. I'm like the most popular anonymous celebrity around.
Oh, hey Nancy.
Hi.
I'm a huge fan. It inspired me on my own art. So I hope you can see it.
Oh, wow, awesome.
So hopefully Senpai noticed me now. My question is, I was curious about the El Barto, when he used to dress up, if they're going to bring that back, because I haven't even seen him in the new season.
I don't know. I have no idea. You know what? People want to know if I contribute to the writing of the show. I actually don't. So they always surprise me. The way we do the show is that we have a table read on Thursday mornings, and I get my script delivered the day before, like Wednesday night. And I'll take it and I'll read it. Look up words actually that I don't understand, because believe it or not, seriously, these guys are writers, and they're serious about what they say, and not all. The show was never written for children. The public for The Simpsons is 18 to 18 on up, and it was not intended for kids, but the kids really like it, and they find something that's fun and funny about it is just kind of a bonus. But you'll notice we don't ever get like Nickelodeon prizes or any kind of like, which is a little bit sad. I don't want to go there, but anyway, what I was saying was it's written for adults, but there are words that I don't always know, and also references that I don't know. So with the internet now, and it's bizarre to think back that we didn't even have the internet when The Simpsons started. It's been such serious, isn't it? It's shocking.
You had to call a friend from the house phone and go, what a great episode that was.
A house phone with
The rotary?
dial.
Yeah.
Truly.
Oh, I didn't watch it. It's on my VCR. I'll watch it later.
But that's what I do the night before, and then we do the reading Thursday mornings at 10 o'clock in LA, and it goes for not even an hour, but it's not really a rehearsal for voice actors. It's a reading so that the writers can take notes about what works and doesn't work for that particular room. So in the room it's about 100 people, and well, not that many, maybe 60 people, but writers and actors, and then around the perimeter of the conference table that we're seated are writers' assistants and executives, and also guests that come to the show. And it is really fun. That sounded like Nelson. Did you hear that? It is really fun. It's so fun to do. It's crazy. I love it. I'm an orange. I know. It doesn't matter what Ralph Wiggim says. He's backed. He's truly backed. So that's what we do, and then they do a rewrite on the script, and then on Monday, we record it. So I know somewhere in here I answered your question, I'm thinking. I do tend to go on sometimes and give you more than your dime's worth. What was your question? Oh, El Barto. Oh yeah, so I don't write. I just, they put it in front of me and I say it. But I gotta tell you, sometimes a line will come up that I don't think is appropriate, and probably for Lisa. And I'll say something to Al Jean, who is like the stage manager would be to a theatrical production. We have a stage manager here. But like Al Jean is the showrunner, and the showrunner, his job is to make sure that all the departments, whether it's the animation or the writing or the acting or the colorization, the writers, whatever, that everybody's on target and everybody's doing what they're supposed to do. He's kind of the lead writer for that. If something's not quite right, I'll read it as it's written, and he'll hear what I say, and then of course I'm right, and then he'll change it. Thank you.
Hi. What time period would you say is the height of The Simpsons?
What time period? What's your name, young man?
John Whitehead.
John, you get an autograph!
While she does that, shameless promotion, he mentioned time period. You can catch The Simpsons weeknights at 5:30. Yeah, I had to get that in, of course.
Here's Priscilla. I can do it myself, I'm such a lazy butt. The beautiful Priscilla. So, wait a minute. John. So, John, here's your question. What time period? You know, it just, animation is like, hello, we can go back when Bart was a zygote. We can go back when Homer was a caveman. Or go back. It doesn't matter. It's animation. We can take them under the sea, or we can take them to Mars. Make Bart 40 years old, or just make him a 2-year-old. It's like, generally, I would say, time period, like decades, you mean? It's just current. It's current time. Whatever's happening, I mean, if you go 28 years ago, it was what was happening in the culture at that time. You know, it's a great question, though. It's truly a great question, because you look at our culture and the evolution of our culture, and you can see how things have evolved. And there were schools, a lot of schools, mostly in the South, that did not like The Simpsons, and they banned it, and they wouldn't allow, and kids got, you know, they weren't allowed to wear the t-shirts to school. They got in trouble for wearing it. In fact, some young guy today even told me that he went to a school and they were not allowed to wear the t-shirts, and he was caught and said, you've got to take that off. or you have to do detention or you get suspended. What he did was he band his buddies together, and the next day they all wore the t-shirts to school. Dun, 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 dun. Changing the culture right here. My point being, like, our society, my viewpoint of it, the society has had, look what's happening now. To me, I'm a mom, I'm going to be a grandma, and things have changed a lot, and a lot of it is not so pretty anymore. The kids, they've got security at school to make sure kids are not taking weapons to school. You got kids on drugs that are in the same classification as heroin, Ritalin in particular. And it's like, it's a tough world that we live in. There's a lot of distractions out there. It's not like the society that Matt had in mind when he wrote The Simpsons at the beginning, which was kind of like Doris Day, Donna Reed, all rosy-colored glasses. It's a tough world, and to raise kids today, it's tough. So I think the show has kind of had its own voice in terms of who we are, and The Simpsons is a little bit more biting today, but not, it's still, which I am really pleased that Matt and Jim Brooks, the executive producer of the show, has kept such high integrity on the quality of the show, and I respect them so much for doing that. It doesn't make mean-spirited fun of people. I think it's playful still. That's a great question.
Okay, thank you. Before I go, can you say in Ralph's voice, me fail English, that's impossible?
Me fail English? That's impossible!
Hello, Nancy. I had a couple of questions, one professional and one for your hobby. First, I've seen you in a Twilight Zone movie from the 80s in a live action role. Were there any other roles that you did live action?
Yeah, it was so funny because when I moved to California, my goal really, it was to do cartoons. I did not have that as a goal or a purpose in my life to be on camera. I transferred to UCLA because actually it was very conveniently located. It was a bus ride from my mentor's house, from Gaz's house, who was in Beverly Hills. So I would just go into Westwood, catch the bus, and go, 5 miles or something to Beverly Hills and jump off and walk to his house. They did not have a speech team. So I did the next best thing to me, which was theater. And I got UCLA's theater department, and I was cast and played anything from grandmothers, Edward Albee, The Sandbox, any theater majors out there, to playing a 12-year-old girl. I was 22 at the time, and I was playing a 12-year-old on stage. And in that particular production, the director, who was a grad student, he took me aside. We had done 3 performances on campus, and then he said, "Listen, I want you to consider something. Could you consider dropping out of school for 1 quarter, because I want to do this in Hollywood as a play, and I want you to still play this character. I don't want to recast this part." In theater, there's a lot more leeway. Adults can play younger people, and same on television, but mostly they cast real life, it seems, a lot today.
The cast of 90210, they were like 40, and they were playing 16-year-olds.
Eventually, yeah, I think you're right. You're right, but at the time, so I said, yeah, I do it, and this was an opportunity that came, it was a carpe diem kind of a thing. I thought, God, I really loved playing this character, so I dropped out of school, and I didn't tell the registrar's office that I was dropping out of school. That's a little Bart inside of me. I just kept that to myself and still just kept my connection with UCLA, because I hadn't graduated yet. I had 1 more quarter, I think. I dropped out of school and did it. Next thing I know, an agency came and they talked to me afterwards and they wanted to sign me to do film and television. And I had no training. I had never worked in front of a camera before. It wasn't my goal and purpose, but I'm like, okay. But I was game and full of spirit and fun and a little bit of a show off. So it actually worked, and they took me, and next thing I know, I went in for an interview at ABC, and they were casting for a pilot, which is just a one-shot deal to sell to the network, and if they like it, they would buy 13 of them or 22 of them, and I did it, and it did not get picked up, but that opened up the door for me with this agency, and then I started going out for on camera. And then I got, see, it was, what did I do first? I did the pilot, that was called In Trouble. It was really bad. I'm kind of glad they did it, because it would have marked me for sure. But then I got Twilight Zone, the movie. I did,
Which was really good.
Thanks. Yeah, if you remember that, I was the girl that actually got eaten by a cartoon wolf. This is what I did. You can look at it. I look like I'm 16, and I'm about 25, I think, when I did that. Joe Dante, who directed that, he went on to do Goonies and Looney Tunes. He's a huge animation buff. And when he saw Dawes Butler's name on my resume, he cast me because of that. Not because I'm an actress and I'm kind of cute or whatever. That didn't matter. Can you read your resume, Nancy? Nancy Cartwright, 5'1", 100. Oh, he says, great, you can read your cast. I want you to be in my movie. I'm like, oh, great. So everything that I went on to do, I was in Cheers, I was in Empty Nest, I was in Mr. Belvedere. I did a lot of guest starring. I was the title role in a movie called Mary and Rose White. This was way back in 1982. It was before you guys were even born. Ridiculous. But so I started to balance on camera with Animaniacs, Pinky and the Brain, My Little Pony, Glowfriend, Snorks, Galaxy High, all these cute little shows. But now I'm doing kind of both. And it's evolved, and that's another kind of a tip for you guys, in addition to the others. Carpe diem, man. If an opportunity comes your way, if you say no, you're never gonna know. You say yes, you open up that door and go somewhere. Sometimes I make decisions, okay, I'm gonna go talk to and this is I better not pick on anybody. I'll say, okay, gosh, no matter what I say, you go, oh, you have something against the Garden Defense Societies. I'll just say the Garden Defense Society, whatever that is, wants me to come speak to them. I'm like, fine, I'll do it. The day comes that I'm supposed to go speak, and I'm like, oh man, why did I say yes? I don't want to speak in front of them, I'm too tired. What am I going to learn from? Okay, fine, I'll go. And I go, and every single time that I have a regret for agreeing to do something, and I do it anyway, like I fulfill my obligation, something cool comes out of it. It's amazing. I meet somebody that says, you know what, I'm casting a show right now. It would be perfect. Something like that always turns out. So carpe diem.
Nice, and my other question is, this is news that you're an artist. What do you like to paint?
I've never been asked that question before. What is your name, young lady?
Annette Levy.
All right, Annette, I'm going to sign something for you.
Nice.
So I'll answer the question. What do I like to paint?